The following excerpt is from the personal logbook of Christopher Columbus on his first voyage to the Indies as edited by Bartolomé de las Casas. Wednesday, October 17th. At midday, I set sail from the village off which I had anchored and where I had landed and taken water to make a circuit of this island of Fernandina. The wind was southwest and south. It was my intention to follow the coast of this island from where I was to the southeast, since it runs as a whole from north-northwest to south-southeast. I wanted to take my course to the south-southeast because all the Indians whom I've had aboard and others from whom I inquired tell me that southwards from here lies the island they call Samoet, where the gold is. Martin Alonzo Pinzon, captain of the Pinta, in which I had placed 3 of these Indians, came to me and said that one of them had very explicitly given him to understand that the island could be rounded more quickly in a north-northwesterly direction. I saw that the wind would not help me on the course I wished to steer, and that it favored the other course, so I steered north-northwest, and when I was about 2 leagues from the island's cape, I saw a marvelous harbor with an entrance, or rather 2 entrances, since there is an islet in the middle. Both entrances are very narrow, but it would have been large enough to provide anchorage for 100 ships if it had been deep and free of rocks, and the entrance channels have been deep also. I thought fit to examine it closely and take soundings. Therefore, I anchored outside and went in with all the ship's boats, and we found that it was shallow. When I first saw it, I thought it was the mouth of a river, so I had ordered casks to be brought to take water. On land, I saw 8 or 10 men who quickly came up to us and pointed to a nearby village, where I sent my men for water, which they took, some going armed and others carrying the casks. As the village was some distance away, I had to remain there for 2 hours. During that time, I walked among the trees, which were the loveliest sight I had yet seen. They were green as those of Andalusia in the month of May. But all these trees are as different from ours as day from night, and so are the fruit and plants and stones, and everything else. It is true that some trees were of species that can be found in Castile, yet there was a great difference. But there are so many other varieties which no one could say are like those of Castile or could compare with them. The people were all of the same kind as those already described. Their condition was the same, they were naked, and of the same height. They gave whatever they possessed for whatever we gave them, and here I saw some ship's boys exchanging small bits of broken crockery or glass for spears. The men who had gone for water told me that they had entered their houses and that they were very clean and well swept, and that their beds and blankets are like cotton nets. These houses are like large tents. They are high and have good chimneys. But of all the villages, I saw none consisted of more than 12 or 15 houses. Here they found that married women wear cotton drawers, but girls do not until they reach the age of 18. Here there were mastiffs and small dogs, and here they met one man who wore in his nose a piece of gold about half the size of a castellailo, on which they saw letters. I was angry with them because they had not bargained for it and given as much as they were asked, so that we could examine it and see where the coin came from. They answered that they did not dare to bargain for it. After taking the water, I returned to the ship, raised sail, and followed a north-northwesterly course along the shore to the point where the coast turns east-west. Later, all the Indians insisted that this island was smaller than Samoet and that it would be better to turn back in order to reach that island sooner. Then the wind fell and began to blow west-northwest, which was unfavorable to the course we had been following. I therefore turned back and sailed all that night in an east-southeasterly direction, sometimes due east and sometimes southeast, in order to keep clear of land, because the clouds were very thick and the weather very heavy. The wind was slight, and I could not make land to anchor. In the night, heavy rain fell from after midnight almost till daybreak, and it is still cloudy with more rain to come. We are now at the southeast tip of the island, where I hope to anchor until the weather clears, and I can see the other islands to which I am going. It has rained practically every day since I have been in these Indies. Your Highnesses must believe me that these islands are the most fertile and temperate and flat and good in the world.